This is Glenn Andrews. I am the Life Doctrines, and I'm bringing you not the renegade alpha word of the week, but just bringing you some thoughts as we close the end of this year and going into the new year. Over the last couple of years, as a reader and as an observer of everything that's going on through social media and publicly and on TV and just in the world, there's this strange dynamic of men and women not getting along. And that can be African American men, African American women, white men, white women, just men and women in general, just not coming to a understanding. We have the feminist movement. We have the so-called black feminist movement. We now have what you call the MGTOW, men going their own way. And I'm perplexed and puzzled by all of it, but I understand a lot of what's going on. I'm not a psychiatrist. My degree is in economics. I have an M.B.A. I have a Six Sigma green belt. I'm a certified personal trainer. I've owned several businesses, getting ready to open another one, and pursuing this YouTube thing as a way of putting out a narrative from an African American male's perspective that's maybe the same or different than what everybody else is putting out. Give you the backdrop. I'm 53 years old. I've been married 19 years. I have 2 children. I have a son and a daughter. My son is in college, majoring in physics. My daughter's a junior in high school. She plays golf. Looking for her to go into journalism. She's thinking UCLA. I'm not going to say where my son's at school right now, give him a little bit of privacy. But I grew up in Southern California in what we call Southeast San Diego, Logan Heights. And what some would call, it wasn't a hood when we lived there, it was just a middle-class neighborhood. But things change, and that's through politics and gentrification and bank relining and racism, but we won't go there. One of the things I learned growing up and noticing about men at that time were most of the men in my neighborhood and my coaches and teachers were married. Most of the young men that were a little older than me, say when I was 16 and they were in their 20s or 30s, they were dating someone, looking to get married. And yeah, there were the playboys, the pimps, the Macs, and all those guys as well. But for the most part, guys grew up and they were dating and they wanted to meet someone and definitely thinking about marriage and all these other things. And true enough, maybe some men weren't mature enough and disciplined enough to handle the responsibility of a relationship and being involved with a female. I went through my trials and tribulations, but I was never disrespectful or never hate women. Let's put it like that. I see now where there's kind of like a dynamic where literally men and women are like adversaries, and that's never been a position that I felt or wanted to be in. I sat at the lap of my great grandmother, my big mama, my grandmother. I got a mother-in-law, I got a sister-in-law, my aunts, my cousins, my mother, my wife, and now my daughter. And as I talk to young men now, and with what has gone on in our environment and society over the last 10, 15, 20 years, with a kind of materialism, and then some guys not having access to materialism or access to some entrepreneurial things, or just going on about their life and becoming what they want to be. Somehow or another, it has gotten flipped over into this attitude as how they want to deal with women as well, as treating women like they're just an object, as if I'm buying a car, I'm buying clothes, I'm buying a trip, or they're disposable. And I've watched videos that Dr. Joyce Leary has done as it pertains to race and white men in power and not having power. But as a black man, I'm observing what is going on in the African American community, where we have more men having babies out of wedlock, and some men not even getting married and willing to go from woman to woman to woman without any care. And I could have easily got on that path, but before I came here 30 some odd years ago, Atlanta, I realized I'm either gonna be, which is my mantra and part of my business, I'm either gonna be part of the problem or part of the solution. And something hit me the other day as a thought when I figured out several things happened. One, I was doing some little league coaching and helping with football and some training at a gym in San Diego before I came here, and I realized I would see some of the kids at the park, but I would also see their moms at the club at night, and that position made me uncomfortable, because to me, not saying a mom or the dad shouldn't have a night out, but if I'm coaching your kids in the day and I'm seeing you at night, I'm not being who I should be. So that was the one thing. The other thing was when I decided that I wanted to pursue higher education. At the time I was working and was in junior college, and I wanted to go to the next level. When I got on the focus of empowering myself and making myself better, that was a time when I was more open to meeting someone and not just seeing a pretty face, the body, and all the aesthetic and superficial stuff. Is really getting to know someone and making sure this person is the right person for me, and vice versa, am I the right person for that individual, that lady? So one of the things that I had to address was who I was, where I was, and what did I want, and what did I want to accept or not accept, and what was my future. And once those things were laid down, you come to realize that you have to be the best you before you can be the best you for somebody else, period. And if you're not your best you, the best person you can be, you need to be working on that, and no one should get in the way of you becoming the best you. You are a moving train, a moving entity trying to be the best you can be. Whoever you meet, they need to be doing the same thing. And if they are not, they either need to be supporting you or they're in your way. They're dead weight. You need not get involved with them outside of friendship and or letting them know they can be better, but that's not the person you want to make plans with in the future. and so for me, I realized I wanted to go to school. I wanted this type of career. And there were some other things, family, have a home, car, trips, take vacations, just plan a life. So those things need to be discussed up front. The thought that came to my mind last week, and I don't even know why I was thinking this, and it just occurred to me. Men and women need each other. And I guess from a word standpoint, we kind of are in pursuit of the love of another or someone to love us. What came to my mind in that pursuit of meeting someone while you're in this process of getting yourself together was, to find love, you have to be seeking knowledge. And I'm going to say that again. To find love, to know love, and to discover love, you have to be seeking knowledge. Intellectual knowledge, technical knowledge, holistic knowledge, godly knowledge, spiritual knowledge. But you have to be seeking something that's intangible, that's going to improve you, that's going to make you better. And while you're doing that, you give off this kind of aura where you're open to the possibilities of what love could be. So for me, I met my wife when I didn't have a car. I stayed on the dorm. I had a part-time job working at the school, but I was on this path of getting my degree from Morehouse College, on this idea of this dream I was working on. Was in the library studying W.D. Du Bois, Carter G. Woodson, microeconomic theory, humanities, religion, studying Maslow and the hierarchy of needs, studying Charles Darwin and the theory of evolution, Thomas Malthus and the Malthusian theory and catastrophism. So I was in this pursuit of knowledge, and when I wasn't studying, and when I met my wife, who then was my girlfriend, became my girlfriend, we would have these discussions on these things that happen, in our world, what happened in history, what's happening in current events. And if you are in the dating realm and you are looking for this individual, or thinking this individual is going to be the one for you, or the one that's going to be in your life, everyone is not on an intellectual tip like me, and there's some that's even more on an intellectual tip and study stuff more than me. You know, even something as simple as, do you have someone who's reading? Someone who's reading a book. Do you have someone that knows what's going on in the world outside of the entertainment and the sports stuff? You know, just knows what's going on in the world far beyond what's going on with Donald Trump and what's going on politically. But just having in-depth concern about what's going on outside of, you know, food, shelter, water, entertainment, and where we're going to party this weekend, or if it's just, you know, a booty call and just a sexual thing. If that's what you want to do, that's all right for you, and that's on the short term. But on a long term, if you looking for that special someone, if you are waiting for that special someone, and if it's love that you're seeking, you need to be on the path of knowledge first. I can't. My experience has just shown me that. I'm married 19 years. I'm 53 years old. I'm not perfect. I'm not no angel. See that right there? I respect that. I'm about as alpha as it gets. But I've talked to guys who are married and indicate that, you know, man, especially here in Atlanta with the ratio and whatnot, that they, for whatever reason, they feel like maybe I can creep and do this thing on the side and it's no big deal. And I've never stepped outside of my marriage, and it has never even been a thought, because for the simple fact, one, I respect myself. That's number one. Two, any female who will come at me knowing I got this ring on my finger, and or even ask me, and knowing that I'm married, and will disrespect me and disrespect my wife, you know, that's I'm not gonna pass judgment on them folks that want to play them kind of games, but I don't play games. Like I said, I'm straight up alpha male. I don't play them freaking games. I'm not trying to be tiptoeing. I ain't on no down low. I don't play that crap neither. I ain't part of that neither. For those who do that, more power to you. But what I can tell you, there is a yin and a yang. There is a good and a bad, a evil and a good. And when you do dumb shit and stupid shit, it'll come back on you. I believe that wholeheartedly. So, one, I'm not going to disrespect myself, because I don't think with this head, I think with this one. Two, I'm not gonna disrespect my wife. If I'm unhappy with her as a grown ass man, I'm gonna let her know, hey babe, I don't like this. I don't like this particular situation. I'm not happy. I'm gonna step. But that ain't the case, you know. So then the third thing is just simply, you know, that individual wanting to do that and have you step outside of your marriage. I see it, I get it. What it tells me is you've reduced yourself to the least common denominator, and that's animal. And one of the things I say, the only thing that separates man from an animal is consciousness and clothes. So if you give up your consciousness, you give up your clothes, and you cross that line between human behavior and animal behavior, you're just a savage, you're just an animal. Somebody recently in a campaign talked about his penis size. Somebody was on a bus talking about grabbing the vagina, had on a suit and tie. That to me is some savage stuff. I've been in locker rooms, football, baseball, fitness centers. Never have there been a conversation to grab at a female or discussing the size of. So anyway, I'm getting off topic. But anyway, this is not even the renegade alpha, the Life Doctrine word of the week. This is just more a thought that I have, that for these ladies and for the guys out there, and I'm talking men, not boys, because that's another little thing that kind of pisses me off. I hear women say, oh, men don't do this and men don't do that, and there ain't no good men. There ain't no good boys, but there are some good men, and that's the difference. And if you want me to clarify and get into more details, if someone want to argue and debate that with me, bring it on. Bring it on. There's a difference between a boy and a man. I'll say that again. There's a difference between a boy and a man. Having said that, if you are looking for love, looking for passion, get on your path and search for knowledge, intellectually, holistically, and spiritually. And while you're on that path to knowledge, intellectually, spiritually, and holistically, along that path, you'll probably run into someone with similar interests, or maybe different interests, but with the same values. Seek knowledge. So, this is Glenn Andrews. I am the Life Doctrines. This is my thought of the week. If you're looking for love, seek knowledge. Subscribe, comment. I'm going to take something from Chris Jones. Holla at your boy. Oh. I'm going to take something from Chris Jones, but I'm going to change it up a little bit. Instead of saying, holla at your boy, come holla at your man. This is Glenn Andrews, TLD, signing out.